The rain was falling heavily that night. Cold winds were shaking the streets, and the sky looked darker than ever. Outside a massive luxury mansion, a woman stood still. Her clothes were completely wet, her hands were shaking, and in her arms, she was holding a small bag that carried everything she owned. She had nowhere to go. No family. No home. No safety. Just silence, and desperation. Her name was Emily. A single mother. And tonight, she had made the hardest decision of her life. She walked slowly towards the huge mansion door, her heart beating fast, not knowing what would happen next. Inside that house lived a man the world knew very well. Daniel Carter. A billionaire CEO. A man who built empires, but lost something inside himself a long time ago. He was successful, powerful, but emotionally distant from the world. And tonight, his life was about to change. Emily raised her hand and knocked on the door. Knock, knock. The sound echoed through the quiet mansion. Inside, Daniel was standing near the fireplace, holding a glass of wine. He frowned. Who would come at this hour? His assistant opened the door slightly and froze. There's a woman outside, she says she needs help. Daniel slowly walked toward the door, annoyed, but curious. He opened it. And everything stopped. There she was. A woman soaked in rain, holding a child's small bag, eyes full of fear, but also hope. Emily's voice shook. Please. I'm sorry to bother you. I have nowhere to go tonight. Daniel didn't respond immediately. He just stared. Something about her face felt familiar. Something painful. Emily continued. My son is safe with my neighbor for tonight. I just needed a place to stay, just for one night. I will leave early tomorrow, I promise. Silence. The rain kept falling behind her. Daniel's mind was conflicted. He had everything, but he never trusted anyone easily. Finally, he spoke coldly. This is not a shelter. Emily's eyes dropped. She nodded slowly. I understand. I'm sorry. She turned slightly, ready to leave. And then, a small voice in Daniel's mind stopped him. Something he hadn't felt in years, guilt. He looked at her again. Wait. Emily stopped immediately. Daniel took a deep breath. One night. That's it. Emily couldn't believe it. Her eyes filled with tears. Thank you so much. She stepped inside slowly, nervous, scared, unsure if she was welcome or not. The warmth of the mansion hit her face. For a moment, she forgot the cold. But she didn't forget reality. She still didn't belong here. Daniel watched her quietly. Guest room is upstairs. One night only. Emily nodded again. Yes. I understand. That night, she stayed in a room bigger than any place she had ever lived. But she didn't sleep. She just sat near the window, watching the rain, thinking about her life, and her son. Meanwhile downstairs, Daniel couldn't sleep either. Something about her kept bothering him. The next morning came quietly. Sunlight entered the mansion. Emily came downstairs carefully. She was ready to leave. She didn't want to cause trouble. She found Daniel sitting at the dining table. He looked at her. You're leaving already? She nodded. Yes. I don't want to be a burden. Daniel paused. For the first time, his voice softened. You weren't a burden. Emily didn't know how to respond. She just looked down. Daniel stood up. Sit. Eat something first. She hesitated, but then sat down. It was the first meal she had eaten in peace in a long time. Daniel observed her quietly. You said you have a son? Emily nodded. Yes, his name is Noah. A small silence passed. Daniel's expression changed slightly. Something inside him shifted. Because he also had a past, a son he lost contact with, years ago. He never talked about it. But that pain never left him. Emily stood up again after eating. Thank you, for everything. She turned to leave. But Daniel spoke again. Wait. She stopped. He looked at her carefully. Do you have a job? Emily hesitated. I used to, but after everything happened, I lost it. Daniel nodded slowly. Then he said something unexpected. I need a house manager. Emily blinked. What? Daniel continued. This house is too big. I need someone responsible. You can stay, and work here. Emily was shocked. I don't know what to say. Daniel replied calmly. Say yes or no. Emily's eyes filled again. This time, not from sadness, but relief. Yes. I will work hard. I promise. And that's how everything changed. Days turned into weeks. Emily started working in the mansion. She cleaned, organized, managed everything with honesty and dedication. Slowly, Daniel noticed something. The house felt different. Warmer. Lighter. Alive. And Emily noticed something too. Daniel wasn't cold like before. He was just lonely. One evening, Emily was sitting in the garden when Daniel walked out. He stood beside her. You're good at this job. She smiled slightly. Thank you. A pause. Then Daniel said. You remind me of someone. Emily looked at him. Who? Daniel hesitated. My past. Silence again. For the first time, he opened up. I had a son. But I lost everything because of my choices. Emily listened carefully. Daniel continued. Money doesn't fix everything. Emily nodded slowly. No, but kindness can. That sentence stayed in the air. Days passed, and something unexpected happened. Daniel started spending more time at home. He would talk more. Laugh more. And for the first time in years, he felt human again. One evening, Emily received a call. Her son Noah was sick. She panicked. I need to go, please, I need to go to him. Daniel didn't hesitate. I'll drive you. They rushed to the hospital. For the first time, Daniel saw Emily not as an employee, but as a mother fighting for her child. He saw real love. Real fear. Real strength. And something inside him broke, and healed at the same time. Noah recovered after treatment. Emily cried holding him. Daniel stood quietly behind them. And then something unexpected happened. Noah looked at Daniel and smiled. Are you my mom's friend? Daniel didn't know what to say. But he smiled softly. Yes. I think I am. That night, Daniel realized something. He wasn't just helping Emily. Emily had also saved him, from his loneliness. From his emptiness. From his past. Weeks later, Daniel made a decision. He created a foundation for struggling single mothers. Emily became part of it. Together, they started helping others like her. And slowly, a house that once felt empty became a place of hope. One evening, standing at the same doorway where everything began, Daniel looked at Emily. He said quietly, I almost said no that night. Emily smiled. But you said yes. Daniel nodded. Yes, and that changed everything. The rain started again, just like that night. But this time, it didn't feel cold. It felt like a new beginning. Hashtag clapperboard ending, for YouTube narration. And if this story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video. And subscribe to my channel for more emotional stories like this. Because sometimes, one small decision can change two lives forever. Life at the mansion had changed. What once felt like an empty, silent place, now felt alive. Emily had become part of the house. Not just as a worker, but as someone who brought warmth into every corner. And Daniel Carter, the billionaire CEO, was no longer the same man. He smiled more. He stayed home more. And for the first time in years, he felt something close to peace. But peace never lasts forever. Because life always brings questions that you are not ready to answer. One morning, Emily was cleaning the study room when she noticed something unusual. A locked drawer, slightly open. She hesitated. She knew it wasn't her place. But something about it felt strange. Inside the drawer, she saw old documents. And one name caught her attention. Carter Family Trust. And below it, a photo. Daniel, younger, standing with a woman and a small child. Emily froze. Her heart started beating faster. She quickly closed the drawer. But something had changed inside her. That night, Daniel noticed she was quiet. "You okay?" he asked. Emily smiled slightly. "Yes, just tired." But she wasn't okay. She couldn't stop thinking about what she saw. Days passed. But the curiosity turned into concern. Emily finally decided to ask. One evening, in the garden, she sat next to Daniel. "Can I ask you something?" she said softly. Daniel looked at her. "Go ahead." Emily hesitated. "I saw something in your study, a photo, a child." The air changed instantly. Daniel's expression froze. Silence fell between them. The wind moved slowly through the trees. Daniel stood up. "Why were you in my study?" His voice wasn't loud, but it was cold. Emily immediately panicked. "I didn't mean to invade your privacy. I just..." Daniel raised his hand slightly. "It's fine." But it wasn't fine. He turned away. And for days after that, he avoided her. The warmth in the house slowly disappeared again. Emily felt guilty. She had broken the trust of the only person who helped her. But deep inside, she also felt something else. Pain. Because she knew Daniel was hiding something big. Something that still controlled him. Meanwhile, Emily's son Noah had fully recovered. And for the first time in years, Emily started to feel hope for her future. But life was not done testing her yet. One afternoon, she received a letter. No return address. Just a name. Carter Foundation Office. Inside, a shocking truth was written. Emily's hands shook as she read it. It mentioned her past employment records. And a connection she never expected. Her face turned pale. Because the letter suggested something shocking. That Emily was not just a random woman who came to the mansion that rainy night. She had a hidden connection to the Carter family. That evening, Daniel found her sitting alone in the living room. "Why do you look like that?" he asked. Emily didn't answer. She slowly handed him the letter. Daniel read it. And for the first time, his confident face disappeared. His eyes widened. "This can't be real." Emily whispered. "What does it mean?" Daniel looked at her, shaken. Because the letter suggested something impossible. That Emily's past was connected to the same accident where Daniel lost his child. A truth buried for years, suddenly coming back. Daniel stepped back. No, no, this is not possible. Emily stood up. What are you not telling me? His voice broke slightly. I lost my son in a car accident years ago, and the report said the driver was. He stopped. Emily's eyes filled with fear. Was who? Daniel looked at her. Your former employer. Silence. The world stopped. Emily's legs weakened. No, that's not true. But deep down, she knew her past was not clean. She had worked for a company connected to that case, but she never knew the full truth. That night, everything broke apart. Trust. Peace. And the fragile bond they had built. Daniel locked himself in his room. Emily stayed awake crying, confused, scared. Days passed. They barely spoke. The house felt empty again. Until one evening. Daniel finally came downstairs. He looked exhausted. But calmer. I need to know the truth, he said. Emily nodded. I want to know it too. And so they decided to investigate together. They visited old company records. Spoke to lawyers. And uncovered hidden files that were sealed for years. Each truth was heavier than the last. And slowly, a picture formed. It wasn't just an accident. It was a cover-up. A powerful company had hidden the real cause. And both Daniel and Emily had been victims of it in different ways. One night, Daniel stood outside the mansion looking at the sky. Emily came behind him. You're not alone in this, she said softly. Daniel didn't look at her. I spent years thinking I lost everything because of fate. He paused. But it was corruption. A tear fell down his face. For the first time, he wasn't a CEO. He was just a broken father. Emily placed a hand gently on the table beside him. We will fix this, together. Daniel finally looked at her. And nodded. Months later. They exposed the truth. The company collapsed. Justice was served. But something else also happened. Healing began. Not instantly. But slowly. One evening, back at the mansion. The same place where everything started. Daniel and Emily stood again at the doorway. But this time, no rain. Only calm wind. Daniel looked at her. You came here asking for one night. Emily smiled. And stayed for a lifetime of truth. Silence. Then Daniel said softly. I don't think I saved you that night. Emily looked at him. I think you saved me. He shook his head. No, we saved each other. And for the first time. The mansion didn't feel like a house. It felt like home. ## clapperboard ending. And if you felt this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Because every ending is just another beginning in disguise.